What's up, everyone? It's Roger and APFM, episode number 85 of Infinity and Beyond, presented by DisKingdom.com. I'm here in freezing cold England, and then we've got Abe in sunny California. Morning, Abe. How you doing?
How's it going? It's actually rainy California today, believe it or not.
That's always the first. So we have got an action-packed episode for you guys today. We have got loads and loads of news. So we've got Zootopia figures and power discs we're going to be talking about. We're at the Zootopia event that Abe went to last week. We're going to be talking Star Wars and Kylo Ren Light FX. Talk about Summer, next live stream. Next, we've got all the Marvel Battlegrounds. We've got Blue.
We got a lot covers. All these different
there's a ton of news. Yeah, there's no doubt about the fact that the drought is over for a week. We've got a flood this week. So I think we'll just jump straight into it with the first thing is the Zootopia figures and power discs. They came out last week. Pick them up. What's your first impressions of them, mate?
I actually enjoy them. I love Nick a lot. He's definitely my favorite of the two. I'm surprisingly, there's a lot of people who haven't been a fan of Judy. I actually do like Judy Hopps, her combo. It's just a bunch of kicking, and you have to time it correctly to make her more effective. I've noticed that when you use her combo, sometimes she can evade getting hit, so it's kind of cool. One thing I don't like about her is her trigger attack. Other than that, either way, they're both awesome figures. The power discs that they came with are also pretty cool. They're great figures, great addition. However, obviously we're going to talk about the Zootopia event in a second, but after watching the movie, I feel horrible because it's such a just huge missed opportunity to have a playset. Huge. But I'll get into it a little bit when we talk about the movie.
Yeah. I was going to say, I played through the two figures. I'm going to be honest. Judy Hopps, I was not impressed with. She felt like a 1.0 character in the fact that her combat seems so very, very limited to just kicks. I know there's some variations of what you're doing and stuff, but it felt a little bit like you only really had one move, even though there were slightly variations and stuff. There was no variety. So I was a little bit underwhelmed about that. Her super jump is great. And so that was good. Nick, absolutely love him. The fact he literally just pulls out a whopping great big ice lolly, whacks somebody. He also throws ice lollies at people. I love it because an ice cream salesman for 25 years, that's what I've always wanted to do with people.
That's so funny.
So an instant ice cream. So that was perfect. I like the fact with Nick as well, because you've got that thing of a close range attack, and then you've got a range attack, so melee it's a nice combination. For me, that's the perfect character. I like to have that range so I can do stuff up close, and I can also attack from afar. Judy is just all about being right up and attacking. And if you're taking on a boss or something like that, it's pretty hard because you have to get up and close to make an attack. Or a far away attack is just So that's my personal preference of my figures. Is I need the both. And Judy hasn't got that, so it felt a bit limited, and I haven't fully enjoyed really using it too much. Again, this is this thing where I think with toy box only characters is you get them and you put them down, and you jump into the toy box a little bit and play around with them. And I thought, well, I'll jump into toy box takeover and kind of try and use some battle and stuff in there to kind of do bits and pieces. Even took them into Speedway just to kind of see if it was any different. And this is the one thing, like you say, no playset. I must be honest, toy box characters, you have to go in and find a toy box, and you've got to go through it, and it never feels the same as when you have that sort of structured gameplay. And you play the Zootopia toy box that came out this week, and it's like I say, it doesn't feel like any different to anything else. And like I say, I think there's that thing of a missed opportunity once again.
Yeah, definitely a huge missed opportunity.
Having seen the movie now, for you, has it changed your view of the characters? Because obviously, I'm still about 3 weeks away from the movie coming out here.
I extremely love this movie a lot. I was gonna say way more than a lot of the Disney animated features that we've had in a long time. I even include Frozen in that. I definitely enjoy this movie a lot more. So yeah, I love that we have these characters, but at the same time, I'm a little depressed because going through this movie and experiencing all the little areas in Zootopia where you have the frozen tundra, and the Sahara Square, and you have the Rainforest Depot. I mean, and then you have Zootopia itself. It's just it would have been so awesome to explore all those areas in a playset. And the story was so amazing. It would have been cool to experience a playset following that story. But unfortunately, like you said, it's a huge missed opportunity. But as far as me loving these characters, I'm so glad we have them included in Infinity. It would have been a even bigger missed opportunity to not even have a single figure from that movie. So, but yeah, definitely, these figures will fly off the shelf once people keep seeing. Start watching the movie.
And then we got the Powerless pack. So we have 2 costume changes. Me, the May, Judy, and we also have Officer Nick. There's been a little bit of this a little bit of a thing about these power discs in the terms that it might ruin something in the movie. And so I think because of that, the whole power disc pack was like all the promotional for that pack seemed to just drop off because suddenly they had a problem because people were upset that there was a spoiler in it. I'm going to be honest, it doesn't, for me, I don't know the movie. I've got the power disc. It doesn't really make too much difference to me in that thing of, like, I think we've mentioned it before. There's certain things in Star Wars Force Awakens which would have been a lot worse than this power disc. But also, what do you think of the costume change discs?
I love, honestly, I mean, the Meter Maid Judy is cool to have. But I love the fact that we have Officer Nick, and I'll tell you why. I mean, it's such a cool look for him, and to tell you the truth, watching the movie and even knowing that this disc was coming, nothing was spoiled. Absolutely nothing was spoiled. It was such a minuscule thing in the movie that it doesn't really like ruin it for you at all. But I love the costume change discs. I wish. I wish we had a variety of more discs, and not the fact that these discs are bad. I'm just saying, like, I kind of don't like the fact that we're only getting 4 per every little wave here and there. Like, I wish we had a lot more, especially toys or the inclusion of something new. But fact is, they're still awesome. I'm glad that we have them. Now the sky and the terrain, obviously I was able to show the sky a while back. Thanks to one of the toys in the toy box, but the terrain stuff is pretty cool because it's definitely going to be versatile. I know you're going to be able to use the terrain disc, like making a Jungle Book toy box if you wanted to when Baloo comes out, because it's very jungle-esque, palm trees and all that stuff. So it's kind of cool. But power discs were good. I enjoy them.
Yeah, I mean, for me, the costume changes at the minute don't make a huge amount of sense because I haven't seen the movie. They're okay. I think costume change discs, they can be great. I think it's a better way of doing variant figures and stuff. But like I said, there's not a lot of variety there. The Sky Dome and the terrain, it feels like this just should be something that toys should be more important for playing. The Sky Dome and the terrains are great for building toy boxes, but I almost feel like that should be just part of something that gets unlocked when you buy these. I think we need to change these the concept of these power discs. Of when we got Tomorrowland, we popped down the discs and it unlocked hundreds or dozens of extra toys. It unlocked all these buildings, all these things, and that showed me at that point that something extra is possible with power discs, and it makes that $5 pack or $6 pack more valuable. And ever since then, every single pack afterwards, I have been a little bit like, come on, guys, you've done this. You've shown us you can do more with them. We should have this for everything, especially if you're not giving us a playset. We need more toys. We need more content, and to make these power disc packs worth it. Because I think a Sky Dome, it's great, and I think it looks amazing. But I want more, and I think they should start looking at what they did with Tomorrowland and start applying that to, especially if they're not doing a playset. If they're not doing a playset or something like that, they should be doing this more, with the Good Dinosaur pack. If we're going to get an Alice pack, if we're going to get some stuff, add some toys to that pack to make it more versatile and it would also improve people wanting to buy it because it comes with all the stuff. And I also think long run, change the Sky Dome and they're great for toy box builders, and they're great that it gives you all that feeling. but for a kid to sit down and play, there's not really any point to it.
A part of me thinks that the only reason why we got more toys through the Tomorrowland disc is because we didn't get a figure, and so that's probably why they gave us a bit more. As far as you know how you're saying, give us more toys if you're going to give us disc. Well, the toys are the figures, so that's kind of why it kind of constitutes Tomorrowland. But I do understand what you're saying though. Like they should be a little bit. They should change the way they work a little bit. Which is something that I'm intrigued to see with the Marvel Battlegrounds playset, because apparently you're going to use Power Disc differently now. Yeah. But anyways, like you said, they should have a little bit more content, and I get it.
No, that's cool. Right, so we're going to jump into some more news here. Right, so let's jump into some news that literally we'll carry on with the Zootopia stuff. The Zootopia event that you went to last week. What was that like? What was that went on?
It was great. It was just like many of the other fan screenings that I've been to. We went to a specific theater. They treated us with popcorn and soda, and then they gave us a free figure and some artwork. But this time, they screened the next performance in front of the movie, which was kind of cool. No, it was just a cool experience to have. But another thing that was awesome is that they opened up this event to a lot more people because it was happening in 5 different other cities. I mean, 4 different other than the one I was in, but total 5. So it was a cool event. Mine was in Anaheim, downtown Disney, right next to Disneyland. It was cool. It was it was just fun. We had JV and Allison there, and they went up and just spoke to us a little bit, and then they just screened next, and then the rest was the movie, and it was just awesome.
Was the location bigger than the El Capitan Theater?
Was it bigger? No, I mean it was a little smaller, only because El Capitan has like balcony seating, but it's fairly the same size. I mean the seats were better because El Capitan seats are made for smaller people, but no, it was great. It was still a good venue. Yeah.
It's that kind of thing as well. I mean, Disney have been, they've been doing this for a while now. Every time a new movie comes out, they'll do an event and stuff, which I still think is a great thing. It's a great thing to do. It's a great sort of cheaper event for them to do in terms of it ties in perfectly with promoting the movie. They give all the guys, I think they, with spreading out to 5 different venues was a great thing. There's always going to be people that will be like, well, why don't you do it here? Well, they can't do one in every single city in the world because it's just not financially viable. So 5 still seems a lot to me. I'm surprised they still went with 5. LA made sense. I could even see what Disney World makes sense. New York, they did Chicago, and I'm trying to think what and did they do San Francisco.
Yeah.
So there's always going to be that thing of that people will want more. And if you're going to bring one, if you can bring one about 5 miles from me perfectly to the nearest city, great, I'll go. It's that kind of thing of, I think it's a great thing. And I think if they're going to tie this in with next each time, I do wonder if it just happened to be coincidence that it landed on the same time that Zootopia figures were hitting. I don't know if that's planned or...
Yeah, because I don't see them doing a screening every time we have a next. I mean... per se, like Civil War is going to be coming out, and I don't think we'll have an next for that. We may have it for Alice in Wonderland because it's going to be close to that, but I don't know. I mean, I know they've been doing screenings consistently. Just for them to actually hook it up with the next every single time is, I think it's just if it lands on the same date, it works. If it doesn't, they keep going.
Yeah, I can't see it. I don't think they're going to be having a Marvel event anyway because Civil War is slightly off. Like I said, I think next one will probably be Alice in Wonderland, and I don't think we'll even get one for the Jungle Book because we're only getting the Baloo figure. It doesn't quite, and the dates don't quite match up. But it's great, it's great to hear that it was a great event, and very jealous that you got to see the movie already.
Yeah, well, it's already out here in general, so.
And also just a thing of just, you guys get, to go one of these events, you get to see the movie, you get popcorn, do you get a soda as well?
Soda as well, and they give us Judy Hopps the figure, and then they give us concept art for Battlegrounds,
Yeah. Did you get free parking?
Actually, we did because it was the first 2 hours in downtown Disney is free. If you get it validated at the AMC, 4 hours is free. So yeah, I had free parking.
Well, you really can't go wrong with that, but that's a perfect night out. It didn't cost you.
Just gas money, that's all. But that was fine.
Yeah. Excuse me, can I have $5 for my gas, please?
Well, gas is expensive.
You're not complaining to me about gas from Americans for our price. So let's jump into some other news. Judy just jumped in before, literally just last night. Game in the UK listed the Kylo Ren Light FX figure going to be available on the 8th of March in the UK, exclusively to Game over here. Same day that Blue comes out. There's been a number of different retailers. We've had France, we've had Italy, we've had Spain putting them on and off, and we've been sort of flipping and flopping around on this thing of a Kylo Ren one. When they did the update back in, what was it, November, December, we saw the little Light FX figure thing, a little lightsaber on the Hall of Galactic Heroes. And the thing is, Game, I mean, they put up the picture. They put up the proper picture of the figure with the light. This is happening. This is, Game is a massive retailer over here. Hundreds of stores. This is, that's about, if they put it up, that's pretty good to me. That's the biggest game company over here. It's that kind of thing. Why didn't they announce it during Next? And also, why have they been so secretive over this figure? I don't get it. It's so odd.
There's been a big disconnect, to be honest with you, because, I mean, they didn't even talk about Boba Fett during Next, and it's coming out on the 15th. They didn't really announce Black Suit Spider-Man officially, like over Next. I mean, JV ended up having to say certain things for him to confirm through the Twitch feed, but
yeah. Well, even during the Twitch stream, it wasn't even mentioned.
I was gonna say, I wonder if it's the same, if that's the case for the FX Kylo Ren figure. I know obviously he didn't come out with the other FX because I guess they were trying to figure out the situation with lighting up, multiple sabers. I guess they kind of figured out how to make 3 of them shine, but I guess it's easier because both of the bottom parts, it's really close. So I don't know. It's interesting in that they aren't very vocal about certain things, but the fact is, there are signs. I didn't believe it was going to happen. I thought it was possibly just a glitch, or maybe it would happen later on. And I guess it is happening for sure. And now that you have a pre-order with Game coming up, so I'm just excited for it to come out.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to pick it up because this is one of my favorite characters, and it was like the favorite character according to the Infinity fan was. I think the thing that kind of bugs me is the fact that they turn around going, "Oh, well, it was a glitch and it was never supposed to be there," and then it's kind of this sort of secrecy over it. It's like, just I don't understand what the big hoo-ha was of why not to kind of just say, "Yeah, there's going to be a Light FX figure. It's going to be coming in a couple of months." Why not? Why? Okay, there might be people going, "Well, we don't want people to not buy the original one." It just feels odd. It just feels a weird way of kind of, why say it's not coming and then it comes just a couple of months later, and it makes them look bad afterwards. It just these denials, and then it comes out, or I don't know. It just seems a bit of an odd way of it just. I think it's that kind of thing for me. Is like, if Disney don't say anything, that's one thing. But if they deny it and then it comes to be true, it kind of makes each time they say a denial, it makes it harder to kind of go, well, you've said this a couple of times before. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I can see that. But maybe, I mean, we could be jumping again. Maybe Kylo Ren FX will be part of Next too. The next announcement. So who knows? But
then if that's the case, then that would be a few months after it for you guys. Because JV did say during Toybox TV that Next is a quarterly event out, and he did actually come on and say that it was quarterly. So we're not going to see another one until June.
No. Those weren't his exact words. His exact words were Next will be something that they'll release one if it's necessary, but they're looking to them to possibly do it every 2 to 3 months. So that was on the Twitch one. Yeah, on Twitch. Yeah.
Yeah, they on Toybox TV. The TV in the little episode, he said it was quarterly. So
Yeah,
this is
okay, I
every
gotcha,
3 months.
gotcha.
So there's
Okay.
been two different. It's been two different things about it coming in at which makes sense to do it quarterly and stuff every 3 months. But yeah, it I can understand them not maybe saying it in next because it's a small little thing, but in the next Twitch and stuff, in the Twitch version, it would have made more sense. It's just a little bit odd that it's been so sort of secretive about this Kylo Ren figure.
No, yeah, that's true. I agree with you there.
Yeah.
Just announce it and get it done with.
Yeah, I mean, it's not, like I said, it's not a big deal. It's only a variant. It's not a groundbreaking figure that is going to change the world. But why not? It's not like it's blue or anything massive. It's a very different kind of figure.
Right, definitely.
Also, this week, Marvel put out that there's going to be a special variant Black Panther comic book cover, which is looking mighty fine. That is definitely kind of jumping through as being a really cool figure. I'm just going to bring up the image here now. So there is Black Panther, and this is going to be I'm just trying to think which upcoming Black Panther #1. It's going to be out in April, but it's a variant cover, so therefore it's like only 1 in 10. So these isn't going to be easy to get, people.
Right, that's correct. It's only 1 in 10 that you will be able to get it. So definitely show up to your comic book store ahead of time or pre-order it. And yeah, it's a very, very cool cover.
Yeah, and it's also just great cross promotion, isn't it? It's great kind of way of getting it out there to a bigger audience.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, these figures aren't purchased just to play them. I mean, some people buy them to collect. You know what I mean? And there's a lot of Marvel comic book fans that collect figures, and this just basically showcases it even more. So yeah, no, I definitely am going to pick up this cover because it's just awesome.
Yes, but like I said, because of the variant thing, you might need to go into your comic book stores or online and look around a little bit, because it's not going to be quite as easy to get hold of as if it'd just been the standard one.
Absolutely.
Okay. Another quick note was
Sorry.
questions were being asked about Toy Box Summit. JV responded saying they still plans to do one, which kind of makes sense. I know there was a little bit of discussion over on our Infinity and Beyond Facebook group about the Toy Box Summit, about if there's no kind of massive platform to push forward, will this still carry on? But like I feel as well, it's a great way of sort of charging up the Toy Box community, giving Disney get a lot of content out of the Toy Box builders. So having this event is a great way of charging them up, getting them going, and creating content. And also, I mean, I think it'd be great ideas if they can. And if there's the new, they have sort of said they're not really going to be doing a lot of patches or any sort of updates to the Toy Box. It's going to be interesting to see what they do with the Toy Box Summit, of how it's going to work this year.
Yeah, because usually the Toy Box Summit was helping to promote, a brand new game. You know what I mean? Like, the first Toy Box Summit, they were, working on 2.0 and showing how the Toy Box worked there. And then the recent one, obviously, they were working on 3.0 and how the Toy Box worked there. So, if there's not any new massive content for the Toy Box, it's going to be kind of odd. If anything, I love the Toy Box artists. They do great work and everything, but I kind of wish they did like more of a Disney Infinity Con type of thing where you invite a lot of outside guests, enjoy the game, everything's cool, and then have some Toy Box stuff going on, like the builders having a competition. But it is what it is. It's going to be the summit again. Hopefully they have some new stuff for them.
Yeah, well, because also, I mean, a major part of the summit is not only showing off, they have all the developers in, showing off the new toys, showing off how things work, showing off what stuff goes. That's nearly the first full day of the morning for us on the Twitch stream watching. We get to see all the new toys, and it's kind of this year, you're kind of wondering of like, well, how does that going to work because of this thing of there's not all of that aspect to it. I do wonder, is it going to be a cheaper event for them to run because they're going to scale it back a little bit? Because, I mean, last year's was massive. The D23 Expo at Disneyland, it was like a week-long Disney, event. It's going to, anything is going to feel smaller compared to last year. But I do wonder if it's going to be slightly shorter, or I don't know. It's hard to know.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, at this point, knowing that we're only getting updates and new playsets, I don't know. Is it just going to be like just kind of like a tournament? Like people show up to play the same thing over and over again, like other games? Who knows?
Yeah, and also, as we keep saying, you're going to throw the rule book out the window. So anything that happened before is completely gone. It could be an entirely different system. Could be something entirely different. The one thing that I did wonder is like, what if they cut it back a bit, have less artists? I'm going to be honest. Looking back at the 2 Toy Box summits that we had, I don't know if the competition factor for the first one was a lot more. There was a lot more sort of, everyone was trying to make the best toy box, and people were voting and all this, which had they didn't do this year. The last year they had it was a team thing, and there was a bit of voting, and they were all becoming. I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see what they do if they're going to have as many artists involved. They had a lot last year. Maybe if they have half or a third less, it might make it less. I don't know. It's very hard to know what's going on. It could be very different. It might not even be in August. They could do it in November. They could do it. It doesn't. Nothing is set in stone this year. The whole lot can just be, like I said, thrown up in the window. Yeah,
absolutely. Could be all different.
Yeah, it could literally just be a Twitch stream of everyone just Skyping in. That's it. You just never know. Everything's out the window this year. Okay, so let's jump into the next portion of this. Nicely tie in. So on our last kind of reaction episode, because we did an episode right after it, unfortunately, Next got blocked from international use. So basically, we did it, and I sat there waiting for it, and it's not working. And yeah, so I watched it after that, and then we watched the live Twitch version over there. Yeah, let's just say that there was a bit of a feedback to the fact that none of the rest of the world could see it properly, and there was some kind of technical issue, but they unlocked it afterwards. Let's say I don't think that will be happening again, because I think that was a one little tick box on YouTube that didn't really work very well. I watched it. I'm going to be honest. I thought the presentation was very glossy. It was very well done. I think it was a great way of them doing it. It was a nice. It was a good feel to it. It was a lot. On one hand, it hit all the punches that it needed to, and I like the fact that it was short and concise, because I think Nintendo Directs have a tendency to be very, very long, drawn out. So hitting the hard-hitting points, but there were things that they missed, like you say, Boba Fett, Black Suit Spider-Man, Kylo Ren, and everyone sort of saying about like what's next. Well, after next week, we don't know what's next, and that's the weirdest thing. Is like what's coming next is what's coming next week. Now after next week, we don't know anything, which is. And this whole thing with Kylo Ren, we don't even get to the end of the week, and we have a new figure that hasn't been officially announced, literally within days of next. That says to me that it didn't do what it was supposed to do.
Well, I mean, we didn't get Boba Fett, and we didn't get Black Suit Spider-Man in next, so obviously Kylo Ren FX didn't expect it to be there either. But what we did get, though, is a hint that we are going to get Dory and Alice in Wonderland content. They hinted it, so at least we do know something else is coming.
Yeah.
Before the retailer.
You know what I mean? Like, we didn't even get to the end of the week, and we had another figure kind of come out.
Oh, you mean like kind of leak? Okay, I get you. I get what you're trying to say. Well, yeah, but then again, that's something we were already kind of expecting, thanks to the pedestal in the Hall of Galactic Heroes. So, so it wasn't that much of a surprise, to be honest with you. It's not like when you reported on it showing that it was on game, I'm like, okay, well that was about to happen anyway. So it wasn't like a big surprise, like Baloo, what? No way, it was a big difference.
I know what you mean. But I still felt like while the show was great, I was just this thing of I keep saying. We're going to go into June, and we're going to have the same problem that we've had already. And I just feel like You know, maybe Disney have changed stance of going, right, all the fan sites and stuff, you carry on doing what you're doing because you're getting the word out to the hardcore audience, and we will do the last minute push the week before for everybody else. And maybe that's just the new stance, and maybe that's just the way that things have changed over because they get two things at the pipe. Because Next was able to reach a bigger audience. The press release went out to all the other gamers. They had a press event for Marvel Battlegrounds this week, all over the place, showing off the figures and stuff. So, you know, they have been pushing it hard this week. And like I said, maybe that's just the way they've changed their mind and going, right, instead of maybe telling people months in advance, if it leaks out, it leaks out, and then we'll do a last minute push just before it comes out. Maybe that's why everything's changed.
Well, I mean, it's really dependent on the retailer. You know, if the retailer leaks it, then we're gonna know. If they don't, then the next will be effective. You know what I mean? Because at least it'll hold off up until the announcement. But I don't know. Well, I guess we'll see. I do like that they show you more. They show you behind the scenes.
Yeah.
They actually have directors and creators of the game and all that stuff, or even of the actual movie and whatnot. So it's cool. It's cool. It's a cool little setup they have. Next is more organized too than doing a Twitch all the time, because sometimes you'll be sitting there for over an hour just waiting to hear the content you want to see. Yeah. So at least this is definitely prettier and better. So
yeah, there's a few things I did love from the Twitch thing. From Next. First off, straight out, the 0.0 is around all year. Love that. I love the fact that they've come out straight out of that and told people, because I think that was always a worry of them doing updates of people still watching out for 4.0. You know, we know it's not coming this year. It doesn't mean we're not going to get an announcement later in the year, but generally we know now at this time of the year that it's not going anywhere. I love the fact they came out and said there's 4 playsets to come out in 2016.
That was a big surprise.
It was a big, really good surprise. I love that, and that was the one big, for me, the big juicy thing. That was the big headline, was 4 new playsets. Kind of bummed that Marvel Battlegrounds is included in that, because I don't really view that as a new place. I don't view that as a new playset because I know it's not out yet. We've known about it since last May. You know, we've known about it for 10 months, so it's not really a massive surprise. I love the fact we're going to have 3 different ones. There's been lots of discussions whether or not Disney Animation or Disney, which side this kind of playset is going to side on. Some people, one article said it was Disney Animation, which has then got a whole host of people who were rallied up to the fact that there's going to be some classic stuff coming. And I'm sitting there going, they said that it's like, you know, if it's happening in Disney, it's coming in Disney Infinity. Just because it's Disney Animation doesn't mean it's The Beast or Little Mermaid or something like that. It's more likely going to be Mona or something that's out this summer, rather than a real classic playset. I don't think, you know, we're going to get that.
I don't know. I'm part of that crowd thinking that it's still possible, at least for the Disney Animation one, that it could be something else. Because I mean, unless they give us more information on a trailer on Moana, the only reason why I say that is Moana, only so far we know of 2 major characters. You know, the lead and then the god, which is Maui. So it's like, you're going to need more people or more characters to play with in a playset, especially now that they're not releasing 2 to 3 figure playsets anymore. They're doing at least 5, 6 different characters.
Yeah.
So and that's why I kind of start looking at hand-drawn as a possibility. But I don't know. It's up in the air. You know, we don't know.
Alice in Wonderland could still be the other playset. We know we've got 3 possible. We've got Time, Mad Hatter, and Alice that could be coming. Are supposed to be coming as well. I'm still thinking that could be, you know, and if they went classic for the playset, you just don't know. For that comes under animation or whatever. We don't know yet. I think 3 figures toy box only does sound a little bit heavy. I know we've had it with Frozen, but that was over 3 generations. Feels a little bit heavy. The one thing I did think as well with this thing of having 4 playsets is looking back at like previous years. So like in year 1 we had 6. Year 2 we had 3 playsets but 4 expansion games. Year 3 we had 4 playsets and 2 expansion games. This year, we've only going to have 4 playsets. So actually, if this is the way it works out, while it might be on par with the 2.0 era, that year, we had 7 different kind of game things. This year we've only got 4. So this could be the lightest year for Disney Infinity ever.
That's only if they don't release any expansion game stuff, though, right?
Yeah, if there's no more expansion games, this could be essentially the lightest year for content.
Well, I guess we'll find out.
It's definitely interesting. But then this is the thing, and I'm going to be honest. Was 2.0? This was the big reaction to 2.0. Was that feedback that it wasn't a big enough leap forward. So when 3.0 came along, it was a leap forward. So this feels like, this thing of every other year, and having maybe a 2-year cycle. This feels like 2.0 again this year, maybe. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I can see that. Maybe it kind of like a busy year, slow year, busy year, slow year. I got you. It's
definitely, I think it's going to. Yeah, and also I think as well it makes sense with, I think the starter pack, sort of every year has burned out a lot of families over the last 4 or 5 years. With Skylanders have really suffered with doing it now. They're struggling with it. Lego have come out and said they're not doing it. I think that whole business model has been shown that was fine for what it was, but now it doesn't work the same.
Mm-hmm. No, yeah, definitely. I think
also,
it's the way to do it. So, I mean, especially like you said, you're going to save families money, and not to mention having to buy more bases and more playset pieces. I mean, it's going to be taking up more room on shelves in stores, and obviously in people's homes. So yeah, definitely.
I also think it's a fundamental difference of like a parent going, oh, you don't need a new game. It's just a little toy thing that you get with it. It's not, oh, I don't have to go buy this $45 game. So it's definitely interesting. I'm just going to look into some of these other things from the Twitch talk. The Keyblade unlock was confirmed that it needs the Marvel figures that are out next week. Black Panther, Vision, Ant-Man, and Captain America. Also needs Boba Fett. It doesn't need Baloo. Unclear if it needs Black Suit Spider-Man. I don't know if that was counted in it.
I don't think it does.
But so that has been confirmed. So we're all going to have the ultimate unlock if you've got all the figures very, very soon. Kind of glad that they've done that, though. I still feel like when they said that all the 2015 figures were on it, it would have been. I do think it would have been cool to have had 2 unlocked for this year, maybe like year 1 and year 2, or I think it's this thing of well, we haven't fully made our mind up and we're going to add a patch in. Was a little bit odd, but it's well, it's not really an unlock if Baloo doesn't count. It's a bit of an odd kind of thing, isn't it? Why not include Baloo?
I don't know.
It's definitely an odd one on that one, but I can't wait to play that one now. It's definitely should be interesting. This is an interesting thing brought up on the Twitch chat, because a lot of people were asking about certain characters, that we can't maybe see. And JV was very sort of open about the fact that there are legal reasons with different companies with Marvel characters of why certain characters cannot be in there and can't be in there. Video game character rights are different for standalone games than ones with toys, and therefore it makes things a little bit more complicated. Probably due to the number of requests for Deadpool, X-Men, Fantastic Four, Scarlet Witch, things like that. I know you wanted to have a word talk about Scarlet Witch and the legal stuff.
Well, yeah, it's kind of upsetting, because I feel like that's who he's alluding to. I think he's alluding to Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver. I mean, obviously X-Men, Fantastic Four, Deadpool, we know that's not going to happen. But I mean, the fact that he mentioned that because other games can, because it's standalone and not toys, you start thinking of games who do have characters, and obviously Scarlet Witch isn't part of them. So it's a little kind of depressing, because that's a character that is in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, stands out. Love her. She's great. We need more females for Marvel, and to not be able to include her is just a big issue in my opinion, because and all because of legality stuff, because of movie rights and toy rights and all that stuff. It's ridiculous. So, but however, at the same time, Allison did allude to a favorite character that she couldn't mention, but she said the words, "She is awesome." So it is a female character. I am hoping maybe it is Scarlet Witch, and I'm just taking what he said as possibly not her, but it could be others. Like for example, we saw Maria Hill in the trailer. She could be an NPC in the beginning, but she could definitely become a character later on. Could be Agent Carter. Could be Wasp. What do you call that? White Tiger. I mean, it could be so many different other female Marvel characters that we might be able to get. But still, Scarlet Witch not being part of it yet kind of sucks.
I was going to be honest, right? This is the thing. Had an email come through. Basically, Marvel are running a major promotion this month called Woman of Power, right? They are putting female characters into every single, or nearly every single game that is out on mobile. So you've got Future Fight, you've got Puzzle Quest, you've got Challenge of Champions, Lego Avengers, Avengers Academy, Marvel Heroes. All those different games are all getting new female characters to celebrate the Woman of Power. There's new comic books and stuff featuring all the female superheroes to try and push them forward. You know, Captain Marvel, She-Hulk, Spider-Gwen, all these different characters. And I can't help but feel, and it was a bit like I had this full-on thing of all these great games going, you have a brand new Marvel video game coming out in the month that this thing is out, and you didn't include a woman. And it was like, seriously, you're running this event, and Disney Infinity, which is one of the biggest video games, doesn't even have a figure or anything to kind of tie in with this. And it was just, I know that obviously they need to have planned this months before it, but it was just a little bit like, oh, ouch. That's it's like one of the big things people have been moaning about with Disney Infinity and with the Marvel stuff from the whole of the year with 3.0. And then Marvel come out and go, here's Power Woman, and it was just like, really? We didn't. That's like odd.
Oh yeah, I mean, and honestly, the whole legal thing is just a dirty mess. Because I mean, like honestly, if you look at X-Men and the fact that we can't have it in the game, like, dude, most of the X-Men are female. You know what I mean? Like, we have so many missed opportunities there. I mean, Fantastic Four, you have some, a female in there. It's just, I don't know. It's a little. We only, out of all the Marvel characters we have now, we only have 2 females. That's it.
Yeah.
2. And how many characters do we have for Marvel? It's just ridiculous. It's a lot.
Yeah, and also, I mean, I think this is the thing with like Marvel, they are pushing forward new characters, because of all these legal reasons. Because if you're not aware, back in the 90s, Marvel was in serious trouble financially, and they sold off rights to the characters for the movies to different studios. Sony brought Spider-Man, Fox brought X-Men, and etc. The trouble is, these contracts were basically written very much on the point of view that Marvel needed money. Marvel needed to get through, and it needed that to survive. It got the money, and it survived. A few years later, it got sold to, in the 2000s, they sold it to Disney. But unfortunately, those contracts that were in place with all these different companies like Universal, with their parks, Fox, the thing, the contracts, by the sounds of things, sound very complicated and very favorable to the people that have it. If they don't use the characters after a certain amount of time, the contracts revert back to them. So we've had Blade, Daredevil, I think Ghost Rider. Those contracts have all they've all gone back to Marvel. Like Daredevil, Fox had, we saw the Ben Affleck movie. They didn't do anything with it, so the characters reverted back to Marvel. And so that is why we've got a Daredevil series. I think even the Punisher was the same thing. Punisher reverted back, and Elektra and all those have reverted back. Because they've all had solo movies already made by different companies. That's why that's all come in. So this is this sort of entanglement of characters. Now, since I feel like in the last 5 years or so, Marvel have been pushing other characters. Black Panther. They've been heavily pushing Captain Marvel. They're pushing characters which are theirs and they own 100%. And I think we're going to see more of this. Captain Marvel, Doctor Strange. These characters. If they had I do believe that if Marvel had X-Men and Fantastic Four and Deadpool in their full arsenal, I don't think we'd be getting a lot of those characters pushed as heavily as they are, because they have. I think Wolverine and Deadpool would make more sense than trying to push Doctor Strange, because they don't need to, because they got more. But because they haven't got those full characters, they're pushing other things forward with that to sort of drown out X-Men. There is a lot of legal things, and I don't think it's going to be. This isn't going to be fixed anytime soon. This is going to be going on for decades. As long as X-Men movies keep making money and Deadpool makes the money, this problem isn't going anywhere. Sony only just last week announced that they're working on a non-MCU Venom movie. There's still a mess to it all, and I don't think it's going to be fixed anytime soon. And unfortunately, video games are being affected because of the technically they can make them, but then they've got toy rights, which is where Disney Infinity comes into other issues. Different regions have different rules of who owns rights in different countries. So making one figure doesn't work the same. Maybe there's a rule in Australia that somebody else has got the rights to, and this is the problem of Disney Infinity, because it's going video games and toys, not just video games.
Yeah, it's a big mess.
Yes.
But what can you do? I mean, there's not much us, the consumers, can do.
No. It's just, I think we get a lot of questions over on the Infinity Board, and every single time Marvel comes up, there's somebody will chime in saying Fox own the characters. Like, no, they don't own all of it. It's like it's a mess, and it must be like a weekly thing that there's usually a comment on one of our Facebook groups regarding Marvel and people not understanding what the legal issue is, because I know when we were covering like Deadpool movie or X-Men movie, we go, that's not Disney. So, well, it's not Disney, but it's still a Marvel character, which is owned by them and all the rest of it. It is just a tricky situation. But yeah. I'm trying to think of what else was getting back onto Disney with Next. Anything else that you can think of that's been mentioned on Next that we haven't covered?
Next or the Twitch chat? What are you referring to?
The Twitch one. Sorry, it's all part Next.
Yeah. As far as I'm trying to remember, there was. Put me on the spot. I don't remember.
Yeah, there was a couple of things I think they dodged. Was the fact of expansion games was a little bit like, we're not willing to comment at this point, which is a bit like, well, is there stuff coming but they haven't announced it next, or is it also? And then there was this kind of thing of like, what about future versions of the games? They were very much like, there's nothing to announce yet, which there was no doubt about it. I think there's another version of the game coming, maybe next year. There was also the announcement that basically the hub isn't getting an update. The toy box is only getting patched. The toy box is only going to get patched. There's no massive changes being planned to the toy box. I think it's definitely, which I can kind of see if they are going to go with, say they're going with Disney Infinity X, whatever it is, they're going to go with next year, because I don't even know if they're going to go with the number system anymore. There's that thing of, are they holding back and spending a little bit more time polishing everything, making sure everything works right for the next version of the game, rather than keep patching 3.0? And I'm after as we said, after 2.0, I don't mind this approach. I don't mind that, rather than rushing this annual release and pushing forward and then having more problems. I don't know. I think I'm thinking this is a good idea.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's good to actually add content to an existing game that's working. You already launched your platform. Now start adding to it. So yeah, it's kind of like the fact that we're going to get new playsets, and them hinting our favorite fish, and that's also obviously eye-opening, seeing that we're going to get water gameplay. Like, they figured out mechanics for that, apparently.
You could just have a power disc.
I don't know. I mean, it could just be the playset, but they're going to have to play in the hub somehow. You know what I mean? So
it's definitely
interesting.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting. I think it's like this whole year has felt so different, and Next and stuff have changed what's going on. This entire year for Disney Infinity is going to be different. It's not the same, you know. It, on one hand, I'm wondering like how many new figures are we getting? Are we getting a lot of toy box characters? Are we going to get a lot more tie-ins and stuff? It's very, very interesting to see, because if, you know, we know we've got 4 play sets now. Even if we have a play set like this month, I'm thinking we're going to get May. We'll get Alice in Wonderland content. June is going to be Finding Dory, if that comes along, and that then leads us to another Star Wars playset, which could be
December.
Could be, well, this is the thing. It's either going to be December for Rogue One, or maybe a Star Wars Rebels playset at some point in the summer. Because this is my kind of tin hat on here. If they 4.0 might necessarily be coming in sort of summer 2017, but also, you know, what about if it launched in January 2017? You know, what if they, you know, what if we got all the free play sets that we're going to, or 4 play sets we're getting, and we're going to get all that information in the run up to, you know, that'll be like done in October. You know, the last one's out in October maybe, and then they got 3-4 months to push us for getting Disney Infinity after Christmas. Kind of, we're at the Christmas rush, it would make sense. But if they're going to do this update, if they lead us right through till next year in terms of like August, people are going to want some content in early 2017. It's leaving it very, very open. 4 play sets doesn't sound a lot to be releasing in this year if they're spreading it every 2-3 months. I'm just throwing it out there that, let's be honest, we have to throw everything out the window and be thinking very, very differently. And why do we have to have, you know, another Christmas thing? It doesn't necessarily have to be that they're going to do that same thing again.
Well, I mean, yeah, that's totally true. I mean, it could definitely. Well, we were already through the rule book out the window anyway, so like it already changed the way they're doing things. But I mean, I still feel like we have a lot of figures coming. I mean, there's still a lot going on this year. I mean, you know, this whole running joke about, you know, Mighty Jedi's eating a hat because of filling that Disney side of the case. You know, there was, what, 12, 13 spots still vacant, and JV already confirmed saying, you know, you're going to be eating that hat. And that's just that's just Disney side alone, you know. He's not even counting Marvel. He's not even counting Star Wars. I mean, we know we have more Marvel characters coming, you know, so it's like there's quite a bit of content still coming this year. But however, how is it going to work? Because it's not like a major game. It's just play sets. We don't know if there's going to be a major update to the toy box. We don't know if we're going to get expansion discs. I mean, it's up in the air. It's different. But as far as a new game launching, I mean, he did kind of answer that question by saying, we're not going to talk about this at this time. You know, we'll only talk about that too. So it's like, okay, clearly something's coming next year for 4.0 or X marks the spot or whatever it's called. But point is, it's going to be an interesting, slow year, kind of like you said, 2.0-ish per se, you know. So, but we still have a lot of figures. Yeah. So,
I must admit, it's kind of interesting. I'm loving the fact we've got all these different characters. I do feel we're going to get lots of little dribby drab toy box only characters to tide us over, which I think is good actually. You know, if they've got like, you know, for example, a BFG figure come out in July, or Doctor Strange comes out in November, or if you've got you know, Mona figures coming out, you've also going to have I like, you know, spread it out a little bit, give it space, you know, like the Zootopia figures coming out. Had Marvel Battlegrounds not been out this month, that would have been our major release of the month, you know. And then we got this random things like Baloo that will just drop. You know, we just don't know what's going to drop randomly when. You know, you got Peter Pan. You know, there's a lot coming in, and like I say, we don't know what else is going to be popping in.
I was gonna say, and not just that though. I mean, aside from following the actual slate of movies, don't forget JV brought up, you know, actually somebody asked in the Twitch chat and JV talked about it. Let's not forget the Oh My Disney poll. You know, they're going to bring in characters that people have voted in. He also mentioned that there's going to be a new Marvel and the Star Wars poll as well. So obviously whoever votes those characters in, you know, we're still going to have more content. who knows? We may still even get a Mabel and Dipper. I mean, I know the series just ended, but they also left it kind of with the door open. You know what I mean? Like it means it could still possibly happen. I don't know. So the point is, there's just we could just get any random. I mean, we could still get like a Pocahontas or something like that. Random characters. You know what I mean? So it's just it's gonna be the year of figures basically this year. It's a year of lots of figures.
Yeah, the thing, but then it's like cards in it is they need the content to make it happen. So it's definitely going to be interesting. Like I said, I think now settling into like this time last year and the year before, we've always been waiting on that next big kind of announcement. I kind of like the fact now that no, we're not getting it. We're going to get more leaks. We're going to get more little drip drab of information coming out over the next 6 months to the rest of the year, and I think that's good. I think it's going to be an interesting year. I think we're going to be doing this with Disney Infinity, kind of in and out over the year.
Yeah, it's going to be a roller coaster ride, that's for sure.
Yes. Yeah, peaks and troughs. And also I think it's a great way I think as well, it'll be nice to kind of have that kind of thing of having new content to kind of bring you back into the game. But yeah, like I say, it's going to be interesting to see how the sales work, how it works with, is it going to work as well? Because obviously, financially, is it going to be there's going to be this thing of obviously Disney Interactive are going to be like, well, we didn't do as much last year, or maybe we're like, actually, no, you guys are doing really well, but without any major, they've said they're not doing E3. They've confirmed that they're not doing all these events, they're doing their own stuff now. It's definitely should be an interesting year for everything.
Well, they haven't really said it, but it's definitely Disney Interactive is definitely not on that list. So unless they do their own on-site thing.
JV did confirm that they're doing their own things now, and E3 is not part of the plan or something.
Where did he confirm that one?
But look, it was on Twitter. I'll find it in a second.
Twitter.
But also, okay. I know. It was also Skylanders have said that they're not going to be doing a booth, at this year's event as well. Definitely. I know a lot of. I think a lot of the stuff with of E3. E3's changing because they don't need the events anymore. They have the internet. They can do their own shows and they can use their own things. They don't really need it.
Right. That's true. I mean, it's E3 is going to be pretty scarce this year. But
then, if all the companies put out their own live streams at the same week, it's still going to be really, really busy for Disney for video game news. So it's kind of an odd one because it's almost that thing of going, well, why do we need to pay them to be at the event? We can just announce our news the week before or the week after when there's this flood of information. I think that's it. I'm just finding here. Let me see what tweets and replies. Let me see where we can find it. Yeah. Okay. We're going. Winnie the Pooh.
Well, in other news,
yes,
the figures are already on the shelf. People are buying them left and right, and still no real confirmation from anybody whether they work or not. We've asked. Some people have said, "Oh, they need the patch," but they haven't said anything yet. So I don't know. I know some people who have. I know some people who have the playset.
I thought I saw something on. I thought I saw somebody on the Facebook group say that they tried it and it didn't work.
Okay, well, I'm just saying some people who have been given review access, it works. Okay, but anyways.
Oh right, okay, yeah. Well, there we go. Because there's quite a few videos going around on Robo Connect TV and stuff. They've been able to get a hold of it a little bit earlier and stuff. So it's definitely kind of out there. I think as well as it just kind of. Oh yeah, here we go. Hi guys, Ari off E3. We are focused on different activations throughout the year that will allow us to engage directly with our fans and community. That was the official.
What was the question?
That was about the E3 that I was still trying to find.
All right, I'll take your word for it.
Hey guys, there we go. So E3, we're focused on different activations. So there we go. So that basically says that E3 is not on there to-do list this year. Yeah, I think as regards to the patch and stuff, it wouldn't surprise me if it came in a previous update, or if it pulls it down when it gets it. Here in the figures, people are buying them, people are posting their pictures. This is what happens. You got stuff in retailers, it gets out early. They're never going to be able to stop this. Force Awakens, they kind of were able to control it because I think there was such a tight grip on Star Wars that we're like, we don't know what the hell we're supposed to put out to when, so we have to be more careful. And there was a lot of stuff going on, and lots of film figure comes in the store, gets put out on the shelf. I don't know what it is, especially in supermarkets and stuff. Like, well, I don't know, is it a grape or is it a figure? But yeah, they're out there, so keep an eye out. But March 15th in the US for Battlegrounds playset, Black Panther, Ant-Man, Black Suit Spider-Man, and Vision. Also going to have Boba Fett and Baloo will also be out there. And you've also got the Marvel Power Disc pack. So yeah, expect, once we get all of them, we'll be doing more of the gameplay videos and sort of doing reviews and stuff for the playsets and stuff. Jumping back into Infinity for that. Also for Europe, Marvel Battlegrounds and the Marvel figures are out on the 25th in the UK. Kylo Ren and Boba Fett are out on the 8th of April. So for Baloo's a little bit later. Again, I don't know why everything's but yeah, so Marvel Battlegrounds is a bit of a messy release date. There's one thing being like a day or two late in different regions, but I think when they pulling 2-3 week waits, it's always a little bit frustrating for anybody.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I'm sure if it was the shoe was on the, I know like in the past, like Infinity has launched maybe like 2 days early in Europe than it did in America, and I think a few weeks definitely always feels like, what are you doing? Come on, it's the 21st century. It should be, day in day release, or at least within a few days, not weeks apart.
I think the UK should build more video game studios so you guys can have the the advantage.
Yeah, we do make half of Disney Infinity.
Not half,
studio
part
go, but not part of Disney Infinity at all. It's we only make half of it. It's fine. Carry on, guys. But no, it's definitely interesting. But yeah, so all those characters are out. Can't wait to get hold of them. I can't get why we haven't got a Jungle Book Power Disc pack. Why not? Why don't we get when the movie comes out? Maybe there is. I don't know, but it would have been nice to have had a Jungle Book Power Disc pack.
I just want a Baloo costume change to Tailspin. I want the Sea Duck. Yeah.
But I think that's pretty much gonna. Yeah, yeah, it's just a flying vehicle. Well, anyway, guys, thank you very much for watching. Be sure to hit that subscribe button. You can subscribe there if you're on YouTube as well. If you haven't already done so, remember to check out DisKingdom /com/DisKingdom for becoming a patron and how we're supporting the podcast and stuff. Big thank you to Ethan over at Band Collectors for his support. And also, just a quick chat as well. Go check out the other Disney Infinity podcast Abe was on this week. He was chatting about all this bits and pieces, but we've done it all on this one anyway. But and definitely go check us out on Facebook, Twitter, and join our Facebook group Infinity and Beyond. And anything else you want to add on that one to finish off?
No, just stay tuned for a lot of new gameplay videos and unboxings and stuff because Marvel Battlegrounds is almost here. So yeah,
we'll get some Ape faces on.
Yeah, if you let me, because you're always jumping in now.
Well, I like 50-50, man. I'm trying to get in.
Hey, man, you got all the other stuff.
But anyway, guys, thank you very much for that subscribe button, and we shall see you guys in a later episode. Laters.
Bye, everybody.
Adios.
Adios, amigo.